Today in Health IT, we have another interview from the CHIME Fall Forum. And what we did was a set of interviews in action, which we are really excited about. And I'm looking forward to sharing with you. My name is Bill Russell. I'm a former CIO for a 16 hospital system and creator of This Week in Health IT, a channel dedicated to keeping health IT staff current and engaged. Again, as I said, got a great opportunity to go to San Diego, visit with some CIOs and the people that make the magic happen in healthcare and healthcare IT. And here's another one of these great interviews. Another interview from the CHIME Fall Forum. We have Dr. Mark Weisman,
Hey, Bill.
the CMIO podcast guy.
That's right.
I remember when you started that out, and I thought, man, there's a competitor in this space. No, but different conversations. Yours was one of the podcasts I listened to pretty regularly. First of all, because the CMIOs, you guys have a different language, a lot of different problems that you're looking to solve and whatnot. And I was tending to focus on the CIO, but after you stopped doing the CMIO podcast, I now have a lot of CMIOs on the show.
Sure.
Plus, I feel like you educated me on the right questions. So you've moved to a new role. You're at TidalHealth.
Still at TidalHealth. Been there about 3 years, but now I'm the CIO, and so it's a new world. It's definitely different.
It's a new world. It would be. You're not the first doc. We actually had a panel on one of the shows, and we had Lee Milligan. We had University of Maryland as a physician who became a CIO. Joel. And we had Stephanie Laura on. And it was really interesting. First of all, their path there. I'd be curious what your path was there. And then the second thing is their thought process for practicing or not practicing. Let's start with your path there. How did you become a CIO?
So just to call it out, Lee Milligan and I were in the same medical school class. So we have there's 2 CIOs out of the one medical school class. That's probably unique, I'm guessing. Now,
I would guess. Was it a highly technical class that you went to?
No, not at all. But I just, just to call it out, Lee was in the front row. He was that front row studious guy.
Yeah, we've seen that. Yeah. Lee is, absolutely.
So my path started really with Sentara Healthcare, practicing internal medicine, and we were going live with Epic and got the bug there. I absolutely loved it, and developed a passion for training other doctors to be more efficient with Epic, and that led to eventually informatics roles and just kind of snowballed from there. Became a CMIO, and then more recently they wanted me to take over the CIO role. They wanted someone clinical, someone operational, someone with good business sense to take the organization forward. So
are you still practicing, or it's kind of a full-time job, this CIO thing, isn't it?
It's kind of a full-time job, yeah. So I have not seen patients since I became CIO, but I plan on it, and I think I heard him once say either on a podcast or something that he did some telehealth like stuff, and I think I get it. I know where he's coming from. That could fit for me.
Well, he wanted to stay current, but he didn't want to put any patients at risk.
Yeah.
And so he's sitting there going, all right, I know I can stay up to speed on, first year med student kind of stuff is what you're doing on telehealth for the most part.
It's upper respiratory stuff.
You're just triaging.
Yeah.
I don't want to minimize what they're doing on telehealth, but it's a little different than
it's not ICU medicine. It's just not. It's just not.
Exactly. So what surprised you about getting into the CIO role?
Yeah. So changing culture is a huge challenge. I was not in IT. I came up through the chief medical officer area. So this outsider doctor coming into IT, and that was, for some people, I think they were a little, that's new, that's unique, but I think they've adapted to that. So I had half of IT for a year, and now I got all of IT. I think the networking infrastructure side is the part where I'm obviously focusing. I've got that Epic thing down. I've got that clinical piece down. I got the business side mostly down.
Which is a significant part of the job.
Yeah, that's, I understand, capital budgeting versus operational budgeting. That kind of stuff I picked up along the way of just being in leadership positions over the years. But figuring out someone else's.
But it's the highly
financing.
technical stuff. It's the cybersecurity. It's the networking. Maybe even the IT operations kind of stuff. The DevOps and that kind of stuff. It's
the phone system, no clue.
Because all the physicians struggle with this. They're like, I don't know that area. And the reality is, in medicine, you didn't know all the areas either that you dealt with, but you were still able to manage the care for that patient.
True. And you do that through having good consultants. And so I have a good team. I have a really, the technical team who I have not worked with previously a lot. I got to know really quickly and well, and I trust them. So they're not throwing me under the bus. They're helping me out, which is nice. You know, it's a good sign. Yeah. And so yeah,
you get some goodwill coming in there, which is fantastic. So talk to me about you became CIO during the pandemic. Is your team at home, or are they in the office?
Yeah, everyone's home. They took our IT area and converted it into ICU space. Wow. So, and the state has asked for the hospitals, hey, don't get rid of that quite yet. You know, keep that. It's mothballed now because our numbers came back. Well, they came back up and they came back down and up and down, but we haven't needed that space clinically in a little while. But our people are they're home and they want to stay home, and I want them to stay home. They're enjoying it. They're saying they're more productive. I see it. So we're not coming back. I'm going to keep. Obviously, the network engineers that need to be plugging switches in can't do that remotely.
Yeah,
but the Epic teams, they can stay home.
Yeah, people are telling me like 25% of the staff still needs to come in.
Yeah,
there's right. Physical interaction with the technology, standing up a new location. Are you guys standing up a new location?
Picking up practices here and there. The financial pressures on the outlying practices, particularly surgeons, when the OR's closed, I think that has caused some new acquisitions to come along that we'll pick them up.
So what are you picking up here at the CHIME Fall Forum?
It's my first time at CHIME, so it's a new
really
it's first time. So it's this experience. Mostly what I've picked up is a lot of people who said they're willing to help me in the event of whatever. If I have questions, or I ran into my old CIO from Centera, Mike Regan, who's out here he's at Sharp now. Yeah. And just meeting people like that again and connecting, saying, hey, new CIO, you're my friend again, remember? So just latching on to people who helped me get through the first year, or two.
And people often ask me, so what's the best aspect of CHIME? And I'm like, it's the networking, it's the people. So it's interesting. We do really help each other. Yeah. A CIO sent me an email. I sent it out to about 40 CIOs and said, hey, this person hasn't done this before. Anybody interested? I got 5 emails back saying, love to help. And that's the nature of what's going on here. So I think you will find that everybody's busy, but they're willing to help.
Yeah, I respect their time. I just said, hey, if I want to bounce a question off you, and some of them have been very quick to respond. So. Yes, that's been great. Great part of time.
And they've all been in your shoes at one point.
Yeah.
My first job in healthcare was as a CIO for a health system. Now, I'd been CIO and I'd done that role before, and then I stepped into healthcare and I had this sort of picture of, well, I've done this before. I know what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. I had no idea what I was doing. I had no idea what I was getting into. And I think everybody who's here, if they're honest, will say there was a point at which they sort of looked around and said, have I got in over my head? This is a lot of work. I'm not asking you to comment on that. I'm just saying there will be a moment or two where you just look at it and go, wow, this is, but yeah, the community's there to help.
It's a lot, but fortunately knowing, I've got the healthcare thing down,
Right.
So I know the environment, I know how to maneuver, I know, I'm not in a brand new system, so I know the people. So that's been helpful for sure. And it's a smaller health system. It's 2 hospitals, 400 beds. So it's not unwieldy.
But I'll tell you what, when I have the 3 billion, 6 billion CIOs, and I say to them, could you imagine doing all the things you have to, because you still have to keep Epic running, mm-hmm. You still have to do cybersecurity, you still have to, fill in the open new practices, whatever. And now I give you a budget of this and a staff of, the smaller, and they just look at me like, no, those people are heroes. I have no idea how to do it. Because
we run lean.
Because I had 750 people with me at St. Joe's, and you have
150.
150. But
we're an Epic shop,
but
so
still, it's the same government regulation. Yep. It's the same, financial pressures, the same physicians, and your build has to be as complete as our build.
Yep.
Even though,
and the security can't be lax. I mean, we don't have a huge security team. We have to outsource that. So.
Well, it'll be great. 3 or 4 years from now, it'll be great when people come up to you and go, "Hey, I'm a new CIO. I understand.
I will pay it back."
That's fantastic, Mark. Thank you for stopping in.
Thank you.
It.
There you have it. Hope you enjoyed it. We did 10 of these interviews at the CHIME Fall Forum. Hope you check back for some of those other interviews to catch what the industry insiders are saying about healthcare IT.